Algae. It's not just the green slimy stuff you find in water. I want to tell you a little bit about what algae is. Algae, depending on the species, can be a multicellular organism or a single cellular organism. And it's a eukaryotic cell. It uses sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, and nitrogen to survive. It uses photosynthesis, where it takes energy from the sun and it converts it into chemical energy that it can use to make things. So a lot of people don't know how important algae is, and so I would like to give you some ideas about how algae really does affect us and our environment. Algae is taken for granted, and the ways that it improves our life is that it can clean out carbon dioxide out of the water, out of our breathing air. It can help purify wastewater, and it can produce biofuels. So the first thing I want to talk about is how it can clean our air. Like I said earlier, it uses photosynthesis, so it's taking in that carbon dioxide and it's using that, and it's releasing oxygen. So carbon dioxide, which is harmful to our bodies, we don't need to breathe it in. It is harmful to our air and to the air we breathe in our bodies, and it also is one of the reasons why global warming is such an issue. It's warming our atmosphere. There's actually been algae air treatment centers put up around plants, power plants, so that as they have to release waste into the air, the algae is kind of purifying it. It's not going to make it perfectly pure and perfectly clean, but in doing that, it allows a way for us to burn fossil fuels and do things that we need to do in everyday life and still somewhat purify our atmosphere. It's available in the market, and people are using this to purify air. Another thing I want to talk about is wastewater treatment. We have, of course we have our the regular ways that we treat water and everything, but a lot of times something called sludge is made, and that's just like a semi-solid material that is released back out into the environment after the industrial wastewater treatment, the waters went through that treatment. By using algae as a wastewater treatment, all the bad nitrogens and phosphates that our bodies don't need, or that could actually be harmful in high doses, the algae loves it. It just takes it up and uses it as a nutrient, and it soaks it right up into its system, and in return it lets out clean water. And this is growing rapidly in a lot of places, and a lot of people are doing research on wastewater treatment with algae. And so that's a good alternative to other things. It's also, some advantages are it doesn't use as much energy, it's cost effective, and of course, like I said, it reduces the sludge. Then now I want to go into how it can be used as a biofuel. This is something that is very interesting to me. I don't know if you guys have seen the commercial on TV. Exxon has a commercial out on how they're doing research on algae biofuel. So what this is an algae cell has an outer membrane, and it's made up of phospholipids, and whenever I say lipid, just think of fats. So when the cell's happy, the cell is making all these fats for the membrane because it needs to grow. So it's going to make these lipids or fats to go to the membrane to grow. But whenever conditions are not very well, it will store its energy in something called triglycerides. So what we want is to produce bigger amounts of biofuel, is you want the cell to produce more triglycerides and not as much phospholipids. Because if it's producing phospholipids, it's not producing its massive amount of triglycerides. So a triglyceride is just a fat, like I said earlier. And so once the triglycerides are produced, you can take that out and make that into whatever kind of oil you need, ethanol, diesel, just a bunch of different things. So research has been doing on how to make this more cost effective. There has been things like jets ran on algae biofuel, so it's definitely doable. The only downside to this is that the research is going into how to make it more cost effective, because it takes a lot of money to extract the oil, to make the oil, stress the algae, and so it's actually costing more. But if we can do enough research on how to get more oil produced more economically, it would be a major success. It produces more yields of oil than all the other biofuel do. It produces more than corn and oil palm. It produces, I think, it can be up to 50% of some of the species of algae. 50% of that cell can be oil that can be used, and no other plant has that. And also, algae is a really fast-growing plant. It grows really fast, so that's also a bonus. So yes, I hope that this has showed you how algae actually is very important to our environment, to us, our health, animals, and how it can hopefully one day, with enough research, be able to run our cars off of this. Thank you.